From Cold War rivalries to modern-day space entrepreneurs, the race to control the moon has shaped human history. Today, we're diving into the complex web of treaties, ambitions, and technological breakthroughs that determine who really owns our celestial neighbor. The space race kicked off in the 1950s when both the US and Soviet Union realized that reaching the moon wasn't just about scientific achievement. It was about proving which political system was superior. The Soviets struck first in 1957 with Sputnik, sending shockwaves through American society. Imagine turning on your radio to hear that mysterious beep, beep, beep signal passing overhead. The US response was swift, creating NASA in 1958 and launching the Mercury program. But the Soviets kept racking up firsts. First human in space, first spacewalk, first woman in space. Each achievement was like a cosmic boxing match, with both superpowers throwing technological punches. President Kennedy's famous 1961 moon speech wasn't just about exploration. It was a bold challenge to prove American innovation could outpace Soviet determination. Now let's talk about the groundbreaking Outer Space Treaty of 1967. Think of it as the constitution of space exploration. At its core, this treaty says no country can claim the moon as their personal property. It's like having a giant "Everyone Welcome" sign on lunar soil. The treaty specifically states that space exploration should benefit all of humanity, not just one nation. But here's where it gets interesting. While countries can't claim lunar territory, they can still build bases, conduct research, and even use lunar resources. It's similar to how ships can use international waters without owning them. The treaty also bans nuclear weapons in space and requires countries to help astronauts in trouble, regardless of nationality. But some argue the treaty's language is too vague for modern space activities, especially when it comes to private companies mining lunar resources. Enter China, the newest major player in the lunar game, and they're not just dipping their toes in, they're diving in head first. Since 2007, China's space program has been methodically checking off impressive achievements. The Chang'e missions, named after a mythical moon goddess, have transformed China from a space novice to a lunar powerhouse. Their 2019 breakthrough came when Chang'e 4 landed on the moon's far side, something no other nation had done before. Think about that. They managed what neither the US nor Soviets achieved during the original space race. China isn't stopping there. They've got plans for a permanent lunar base by 2035, complete with nuclear power stations and mining operations. They're calling it the International Lunar Research Station, though some Western observers view it with a mix of admiration and concern. Let's dig into what makes the moon such a valuable target for mining operations. Picture this: a dust-covered surface loaded with resources that could revolutionize life on Earth. The most exciting prospect? Helium-3, a rare isotope that could power clean fusion reactors for centuries. Just a few tons of this stuff could power a large city for a year. But that's not all. The moon is packed with rare earth metals essential for everything from smartphones to electric cars. These resources are getting harder to find on Earth, making lunar mining increasingly attractive. Companies like Moon Express and iSpace are already developing technologies to extract these treasures, while countries are racing to stake their claims. The challenge? Mining in space isn't like mining on Earth. We need to figure out how to process materials in lunar gravity, deal with extreme temperatures, and transport everything back home. It's basically like trying to run a mining operation in the world's harshest desert, but with the added fun of no atmosphere. Welcome to the new space gold rush, where billionaires with rockets are changing the game. Companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Moon Express aren't just playing around. They're reshaping how we think about lunar ownership. Unlike the government-led space race of the 1960s, these private players are bringing Silicon Valley-style innovation to space exploration. Elon Musk's SpaceX has slashed launch costs by 90% with reusable rockets, while Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin is developing lunar landers for NASA's Artemis program. But here's where it gets interesting. These companies aren't just working for governments, they're pursuing their own lunar ambitions. They're planning everything from tourist trips around the moon to mining operations, raising fascinating questions about who really controls what happens up there. The legal framework from the 1960s never anticipated private companies becoming space superpowers. Ever seen those ads claiming you can buy an acre on the moon for the price of a pizza? Well, let's bust some lunar real estate myths. Despite what some companies might tell you, those fancy moon property certificates aren't worth the paper they're printed on. The Outer Space Treaty specifically prevents any nation or individual from claiming lunar territory. These lunar real estate companies are basically selling you the space equivalent of snake oil. But here's where it gets fascinating. While you can't own lunar land, the future might bring opportunities to lease facilities or resources on the moon. Think of it like renting an apartment versus owning the building. Companies are already developing plans for lunar habitats and research stations, focusing on usage rights rather than ownership. It's a bit like Antarctica. No one owns it, but scientific bases operate there under international agreements. Let's explore how the moon has become a critical military chess piece in the modern era. While the Outer Space Treaty bans weapons of mass destruction in space, military strategists see the moon as a potential high ground for Earth observation and satellite control. Think of it as the ultimate mountain peak. Whoever controls it has a clear view of everything below. The US Space Force, created in 2019, specifically mentions lunar operations in its planning, while China's space program has strong ties to its military. Countries are particularly interested in the moon's poles, where constant sunlight could power surveillance equipment, and deep craters could hide sensitive installations. But here's the catch. Any obvious military buildup would face international backlash. That's why nations often disguise military interests behind scientific research and resource exploration programs. After 50 years away from lunar landings, NASA is making a dramatic comeback with the Artemis program. Named after Apollo's twin sister, this ambitious project aims to put the first woman and person of color on the moon by 2025. But this isn't your grandparents' moon mission. Artemis represents a totally new approach to lunar exploration. Instead of just planting flags and gathering rocks, NASA plans to establish a permanent lunar base called Gateway, essentially a mini space station orbiting the moon. They're partnering with private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin, turning what was once a government-only venture into a public-private partnership. The goal? Creating sustainable lunar operations that could serve as a stepping stone to Mars. Think of it as building a cosmic pit stop that could revolutionize deep space travel. The future of lunar exploration is shaping up to be a fascinating mix of teamwork and rivalry. Take the Lunar Gateway project. It's like an international space apartment complex, where different countries contribute modules and technology. NASA's leading the charge, but they've got partners from Europe, Canada, and Japan, all bringing something to the table. Meanwhile, China and Russia have announced their own lunar station plans, creating what some call a space station showdown. But here's the interesting part. These competing projects might actually benefit humanity. Just like how competition between phone companies gave us better smartphones, this rivalry is speeding up lunar innovation. Scientists from different stations could still share data and help each other in emergencies, showing that even in space, cooperation and competition can coexist. Looking ahead, the moon's future governance is likely to resemble a complex dance between competing interests. Picture the Arctic as a preview. Multiple nations and companies all vying for resources while trying to maintain peace. We'll probably see the emergence of lunar economic zones, where different entities operate under international oversight. The biggest flashpoints? Resource rights will be huge, especially around the water-rich lunar poles. Expect heated debates over mining claims and who gets prime real estate for solar power stations. We might even see the creation of a lunar authority. Think United Nations meets space traffic control. The real challenge will be balancing commercial interests with scientific research and preservation. After all, we don't want the moon turning into a cosmic junkyard. Thanks for exploring the fascinating world of lunar politics and ownership with us. If you enjoyed this cosmic journey through history and future possibilities, hit that like button and subscribe for more space content. Share this video to spark some lunar discussions.